Alright, hello, it's me, first YouTube video. Pretty nervous about this one, so bear with me. We are going to get right into it. What we're going to be looking at today is exactly what I did in my journey to lose the fat that was on my body. Just a disclaimer, remember that I am not a certified personal trainer. I'm not a nutritionist. I am not a doctor by any means, so anything that I tell you guys here, it's strictly my opinion and what worked for my body. So yeah, we'll go from there. I'm nervous, so I'm spinning around in my chair, so I'm just gonna, be an awkward potato. But here we go. So we're gonna talk about 4 things: stress, sleep, consistency, and diet. Okay, so we're gonna talk about 4 most important things that I found. 1 is gonna be stress, 2 is gonna be sleep, 3 is going to be diet, and 4 is going to be consistent exercise. Starting with stress because it's the most uncomfortable one. I think for you to understand like the level that I was at last year where I didn't want to work out, didn't want to do anything, it's like you have to understand how much stress impacts your tummy, your little gut. Here's a picture of me before, here's a picture of me after. That honestly, like, I think the biggest thing from my takeaway with my fat loss journey was how to do things that allowed me to handle with the stressful situations that I was going through in my life a lot better. Just because I noticed like a lot of bloating, a lot of water retention. I was having symptoms with my digestion that were pretty much like close to IBS, and there were also times when I would go to like wipe myself and there would literally be blood on the paper from how stressed I was. So a lot of TMI, but it's like you have to know where I was at and why I take my fitness journey so seriously now. Stress was also impacting things like my sex life. Like I wasn't performing in bed the way that I wanted to, and eventually just came to the point where I thought there was something really wrong with the mini me. And it was honestly just the fact that through all the negative self-talk that I had when I was looking at myself in the mirror, that was stressing me out. It was affecting my performance in terms of my relationships with people, my daily communication, and I was also just like, you know what I mean? Just like a perpetual ball of anxiety because I'm holding that stress inside of me. When I'm doing that, then it's like how I would normally breathe like this, I would just stop. Because the stress, I'm breathing up through here, and then when I was doing that, I also wasn't digesting stuff. So then the issues would just compound on top of each other because I wasn't breathing through, which was allowing me to help with my digestive process. That would create stomach pain. Then because of the stomach pain and pain all the way down into like my lower pelvic floor, like I was explaining with the bleeding, then I just would stop breathing. So it would just continuously be that same echo chamber. 100% transparency. The only way that I learned how to relax my pelvis floor was I went to Myo Detox. So shout out Myo Detox. I had to go there. There was a PT, and they basically just did the thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's like once I was able to make that connection, the same way that you'd have a mind-muscle connections if I was trying to train my biceps, it's the same way that I had to relearn that connection with my pelvic floor. So a lot of personal information, but that's step 1. Number 2, we're gonna go with sleep. So sleep is really crucial, y'all. Like that is underrated. At the time that my body kind of got that deconditioned, I just wasn't sleeping at all. I was literally up for like 24 to 48 hours on any given day. The type of job that I was doing, I was working for Twitch streamers, YouTubers, etc. So it's like you have to understand a lot of them don't have money or claim to not have money, so they would pay you basically like, if you think about the amount of money that I was making for like the amount of work that I did, it's like you could be making like $200 a week, but you're editing like 40 hours. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know what to say about that one. It was just like a choice that I made because that's all I had available to myself during the winter and COVID. As soon as I was able to get on my bike and start riding Uber Eats in 2021, then I did that. We'll talk about that too because that also helped with my fat loss. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like your sleep is important. You can't really prioritize work over your sleep if you're not getting I personally average right now about 6 hours of sleep, but during the time that I made the most gains in my physique, like that really extreme change, it was 7 to 10 hours of sleep per night minimum. Like 7 was like on the rare end, like 7 was when I was thinking that like, hey, like I have a busy schedule, I'm not gonna be able to sleep too much, so that was 7 hours. So if you're not sleeping enough, then you're really not doing yourself any type of service or benefit because all that hard work that you're doing in the gym, your body needs time to recover from that. What else? I guess the most difficult parts that I would say about regulating your sleep is definitely the social aspect because I have friends in different time zones, so I would want to play like video games, like play Overwatch, play League of Legends, and then the only time they would be available would be like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning EST. So that was definitely one of the big challenges that I had when I was going through that initial recomposition with my body. But honestly, y'all, like you just need to set a time, like set the focus mode, set your sleep schedule to start silencing notifications at a certain point in time. Ideally, you want to be asleep before 12 o'clock and get like 1 to 2 hours of your sleep before 12 o'clock. If you're not, you're still doing yourself a disservice, but I prefer that you like have 8 hours and it's not 8 hours during the ideal time, then it would be 8 hours during what? Brain fart. I don't remember. The point is, get your sleep. Let's talk about diet. Once again, disclaimer, I'm not a nutritionist, so I can't give you any advice if you happen to get any type of lifelong lasting disease based off of my health advice. I'm sorry. Yeah, not my fault. I'm innocent. Please, big brother, if you're watching, it wasn't me. So if you know me, you know I'm a hard ass with my diet. That's more for my digestive problems. So yeah, this is my favorite one to talk about personally because I like fucking with people's heads and telling them like, hey, you know when I did that recomp, guess what I was doing? I was eating 3 times a week at McDonald's, and on the other days I was eating tacos from Classico. Shout out Abraham, Abel. Thank you guys for all the food. Thanks for thanks for just like feeding me on so many occasions when I literally just like didn't have money for food. That summer they were like, sure, come hang out, shoot some photos. You know what I mean? Help us out in the kitchen and you can have a meal. You know, so honestly, really appreciate you guys the most. Love you guys like you were literally my blood family. But yeah, enough of that tangent and back to the point. Diet is a really fun topic I find to talk about because when I made the changes, people just assumed that I was like, oh, I was super strict, I was never eating out, I was never having cheat meal, I was super on point with my diet. It's like, no, listen man, if I was going to Classico to have some tacos or to have a burrito, I just cooked my vegetables at home, had 2 cups of vegetables like green peas, carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, those type of things, like the really hearty, like good vegetables for you that I know would have a positive impact on my digestive tract because I just wanted to eat what I wanted to eat, but I didn't want to be in pain in my stomach anymore. So eat those things, drink a ton of water, go to McDonald's, go to Classico, go wherever the heck that I wanted to eat dinner, you know what I mean? And then eat whatever I wanted. So basically, like, I don't have too much to say on this topic for just being wary of giving you bad advice that could cause like improper balance in your body. Yeah, like just pay attention to your physique, pay attention to your stomach, pay attention to the way the things that you eat affect your energy levels, your mental health, your joint inflammation. Like that's all the type of things where being an athlete before I even started on this bodybuilding journey, I was already very aware of the way that things going into my body would produce a certain type of change. Like, I'm very sensitive to understanding, like, oh, I ate this vegetable and then I can see bloating like across my obliques or something like that, you know what I mean? So it was a bit easier for me in that sense because I was already used to paying attention to my body in detail and measuring results on it. But yes, that's just like a reminder. I'm encouraging you to find balance. If you're not trying to do the things with your physique and your body that I'm trying to do, I personally don't see a problem with you eating McDonald's once a month or buying yourself a cheat meal. Like, there's nothing wrong with like eating food that's not the best possible option for you, as long as you're doing it in moderation. I'm not telling you to go to McDonald's and eat 3 Big Macs, a McFlurry, and a large Coke with a large fries and 2 apple pies, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, if you want to go to McDonald's, like, I would go to McDonald's, buy 2 junior chickens with extra lettuce, add tomatoes and no mayo sauce, and then I would have had my vegetables either before I left for the whatever I was doing downtown that required me to stop somewhere to get food, or I would literally steam vegetables, put them in a plastic baggie, and put them in my shoulder sling. Like, if you saw me in the summer, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know how real that is. I would just pop out and just like, I have carrots, potatoes, green peppers, red peppers, yellow peppers just magically appearing out of nowhere, and I'm just snacking on them. So yeah, I don't know, that's like a long-winded, non-cohesive thought on diet. Is like the main thing that I'm trying to encourage you guys is to just find balance. If you don't want to be a bodybuilder, you don't have to go to the extreme of my current diet, but that also does mean that if you're not gonna be very strict with your diet, do the things that you know aren't good for you in moderation. And if you're gonna put things that aren't good with you, good for your body, inside of your body, just eat vegetables at the same time. That's all I'm telling you guys. Like, eat vegetables, drink your water, like, go to McDonald's, buy your cheat meal, eat your vegetables, and drink your water. You know what I mean? Skip out on a few of the extra crazy sauces that it has in there. Ask them to remove this or sub it for this. Something that you and I both know is just a little bit better. You don't have to like change the world with your diet, but do make picks and pieces and pick apart like what you're doing and try and make it just like a little bit healthier, even if it's not the ideal choice for your fat loss journey. So, you know what I mean? I was eating McDonald's 3 times a week, and Classico tacos probably will. With that being said, they aren't the most unhealthy tacos. Everything is fresh. Everything was very good quality there, but it's just like it's not in my meal plan anymore. So I don't eat it anymore, but I got the results that I got without being like super strict, like super on everything, never skipping, never missing a meal, never cheating. I was eating whatever the hell I wanted. You can do, you just have to do it smart. If you want more information on that, I could go into more detail and like kind of look at like what my meal plan looked like during that time, but whatever information I give you, please go and see a nutritionist. So the final point is... yes. So for the last point, we're going to talk about daily consistency with movements. Don't know what to tell you. I had athletics experience prior to me trying to recomposition my body, so once I got through the first couple of days, it felt like natural for me to be back in the gym every day, because I was in the gym at least 4 or 5 times per week for years before COVID. So because of that, I did find this to be one of the easier steps for me. For you, this might be the more challenging one, but that's okay. Everybody has their own journey, and it can take time. It might take you longer to adapt to being consistent in the gym, but the most important part that I would emphasize is the daily movement. In the mornings that I would get up, I would literally, like, I'm not even kidding you, I'm gonna be 100% transparent. I didn't brush my teeth, I didn't check my phone, I didn't wash my face, I didn't take a shower, I didn't do any of those things. I literally woke up with my alarm, got out of bed, put on a hoodie, and went for a 5-minute walk around the block. That way I could say that I moved daily every day. And while I was walking, my phone was at home. I was deep breathing into my diaphragm and my core, because if you know, as part of the daily movement, your breath work is going to be very important. You're never going to get your body into an ideal state to be able to like to be able to lose the fat that you want to lose if you're not even focused on your breathing. So focus on your breathing, get moving daily. That could be a 10-minute yoga practice. Like Yoga with Adrian is a good YouTube channel that I use every single day. That when I first started out, if you're not going to do it on your own at home, find a yoga studio local to you anywhere. There's a bunch of amazing ones in Toronto. If you're watching this video from somewhere else, thank you. I appreciate you a lot. I appreciate all of you guys for being here and listening to what I have to say about my fitness journey, but just find any way to move daily with intention. Like, I'm not talking about the fact that, oh, you got on the TTC so you had to walk to work. No, I'm saying put down all distractions, everything, move daily, breathing into your diaphragm, whether that's in the gym, lifting weights, whether that's in the gym, on a yoga mat, because I did that. You can ask Chris, my boy Chris. You guys make sure you check out his content too. He's moving some heavy weight. Strong guy, good guy, amazing guy. Like, I was literally on the floor at his gym 7 days a week, just breathing. Like, when I started my journey, I wasn't even there to lift weights. I was just there to mobilize my joints and breathe based on the exercises that I was getting from my physiotherapist, Eric. So yeah, like, I can't stress that enough, is like, you don't have to move some crazy amount of heavy weight on a daily basis, but you do have to move daily and with intention. Think about why you're moving, think about the joints, think about the muscles, think about what you're impacting, think about your breathing during that time. It's just like, that's all there is to it, man. It's just like, breathe, take it easy, and have fun with your movement. If you're not having fun with it, then why are you doing it? If you're not training to have a better body for the rest of your life, like, yes, I know we can have aesthetic goals, but it's like, you can train for those aesthetic goals by training to have a better body for the rest of your life. You can't necessarily focus on aesthetics and expect that your joints are going to start moving properly. But I guarantee you, if you're focused on your joints, if you're focused on your daily movement, then 100% of your daily life activities, your lifts, your work life, your sex life, your fucking just anything, bro, all of it will get better. I promise you, just give it a shot. So for the last one, I just wanna, I know I said 4, but this is gonna be kind of a 5th one. I just wanna bring it all together by saying that with those 4 things, I had kind of like a weird principle that I stuck to, because I wasn't doing all 4 of those things on every day, except for the daily movement. So what I kind of did was I had a 50-50 rule, and I was like, listen, Jelani, no more excuses. You gotta hit at least half of your marks every day. So if I chose to sleep well, but I knew I was really stressed, then I would also have daily movement, and I wouldn't have cheat meals. You know what I mean? But like, if I had daily movement and I had a cheat meal, then there's still 2 more things that you have to focus on. You know what I mean? So out of those 4 things, it was basically just like finding that balance. That balance for my body specifically to get the results that I got was 50% of the time. Like, obviously the goal was 100%, but there were things like work, there were things like family life, stress, like other things just outside of your control that meant that I couldn't do all 4 of those steps on every day. So all I did was look at which 2 could I reasonably commit to without it having a huge negative impact on my day, and the other 2 I would say, hey, you know what? This is good enough for today. Tomorrow we're gonna make sure that we hit all of them. And I kind of like, I guess, speaking towards the balance is like, I would try not to set up like a long chain of missing, you know what I mean? Like missing all 4 of them. So it's like, if I missed 2 out of the 4 on a Monday, then on the Tuesday, I needed to make sure I looked at my work schedule. I made sure I wasn't overworked. I made sure that I had time to recover, to eat my meals, to get my daily movement in, to manage my stress on the yoga mat, foam rolling, my breath work, my going for my walk, my meditation. I wasn't socializing during those times. I was literally just a loner in my house, alone, doing things to better myself, and then going out only for work and to do things that I found personally served me. So I hope with all of this information that you guys can take something away from this and hopefully have a better time with your own personal fat loss journey. I can see that my camera is dying and I don't have a battery charge, so I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace!